Welcome to Screen Talk with Sam and Blue. We are the podcast that talks about anything and everything to do with what's on your screen, be it TV, movies. And today we're going to tackle animation, specifically children's animation, with my co-host Blue. How you doing?
I've never been worse.
Oh wow! Oh no! Oh no!
I've never in my life been worse. Because here's the thing, guys. We decided we've been covering a lot of heavy stuff lately, a lot of like adult themes or like even just like gory movies, like nothing really like light, carefree, fun. And that's when I was like, oh, you know what? We've had this idea on the list. Let's do some like animation stuff, like stuff that we watched as kids. And, you know, let's like explore that. Like that could be fun. Let's like relive our childhood a little bit. And instead, spoilers, you show me Optimus Prime dying in like 20 minutes in the movie. Why would you do that to me? we sought out to make a fun, fresh, silly episode, and I hate it.
To be clear, this is how this conversation went. I was pushing for Aristocats for my pick, and then somehow or another, you actually were kind of like trying to be like, Sam, pick Ferngully, and I was like, I mean, I'm not like, I have to. And then somehow I mentioned that there is the 1986 Transformers movie that I had not seen since I was a kid. And here's a little known secret. Blue is also somewhat of a 13-year-old boy.
Yes, very much so.
And
I love the Transformers.
Blue, I was going to say, give for the listeners and the viewers, let's give, how much do you love the Transformers?
As a collective, I'm an Optimus Prime fanboy, I think is the main thing we have to understand. I'm new to the Transformers fandom. I've seen a lot of the movies, and now I'm going back and watching some classic stuff. I'm in it, like I'm having a good time, but I'm new to it. I didn't really grow up with the Transformers. Like I knew they were a thing, but now, oh my God, dude, if I hear Optimus Prime read out to some fucking Linkin Park, oh my God, dude, it hypes me up. Like I am filled with testosterone. Like things are good. Like I love it. Love it.
And agreed. I think those movies are pretty dumb. And I will say this, I'm going to say controversial opinion. This is the best Transformers movie that exists. The one we are reviewing today, the 1986 animated one. Oh, look, it was so real. I do think this is the best one overall.
You're like not trolling me right now?
No, not trolling at all. I do think it is the best one.
There's
overall.
no work in this one. What do you mean?
I mean, I love Linkin Park. I love the big, we will be watching what I yes.
This is not the best.
Listen, there are massive problems with this movie, but it's pretty overall enjoyable. Like I had a good time watching this, except it also, like, to me shows where the real roots of this franchise are and why I think it's hard to make a truly great movie of this. The whole thing, you watch this, and I mean, I think I could have, like, if I had to put a check mark on a piece of paper for every time I'm like, well, that's a new toy, that's a new toy, that's a new toy. I mean, I would have like filled this fucking notebook up, like.
But is it about toys or is it about the Transformers? Is it about justice? Okay. Isn't it about intergalactic relationships? Okay. Toys.
No, it's about toys. It's
about Linkin Park, and it's about Optimus Prime being sexy as fuck. Okay.
Okay.
That man is sexy.
Do we want to talk about your multiple strange crotch shots that I've seen of you having of Optimus?
Listen, guys. Listen. If you see me and Optimus getting into it, just know I'm where I want to be. Just know I'm good.
Yes.
Like, let me have that exhaust pipe, King. Like, that's my man.
There was a genuine part in this movie where I was like, this might be too much for Blue to erotically handle.
I don't want to see him in pain, bro. Ugh.
Oh, but the entirety of Transformers, be it as a franchise, anything, this is not up for debate. It is about selling toys. It is, like, Hasbro admitted it. And even the makers of this film, like, argued, apparently, okay, you spoiled it, but the only thing I remembered is that, yes, what everybody remembers about this movie is that Optimus dies in the first like 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, it's the worst movie anyone's ever made ever.
And as the story goes, Hasbro was financing and making 2 movies at the exact same time. It's this and it's G.I. Joe. And the Hasbro people went to the movie people and were like, you got to kill Optimus and you got to kill Duke, who's the leader of G.I. Joe.
And then no one killed that guy in retaliation? Like, what are we doing?
So they made and like their whole and kill off a bunch of other characters as well. And they're like, their reasoning for it is that way we can introduce a whole new line of characters so that people will buy. Except this movie came out and kids fucking hated it.
Yeah, it's almost like Optimus Prime dies in 20 minutes.
So they flipped it and G.I. Joe got saved. So a lot of Transformers fans of that day are like, well, fuck, I wish, G.I. Joe would have gotten released first and Optimus probably would have been okay.
It's crazy, man. I understand, like, you're almost like killing off like old models of toys that aren't selling well. Like, I understand it in theory. Though that's very corporate shareholder type of nonsense. Like, this is about childhood joy.
It didn't work. They brought him back very quickly.
As they should, because no one cares about, I don't care about Hot Rod. If Hot Rod has 0 enemies, I am dead. Okay?
Apparently,
I'm done.
I'm with you on that. But apparently, because Europe always gets movies later than America does, that they did add in right at the very end of the movie, they added in like Optimus will return in season 3, like because they're like, we got to give the fans something.
Yeah, as they should, because they shouldn't have even done that in the first place. Like, don't play with people like that. Not about Optimus. And I love the Transformers, and this might be controversial. Kill Bumblebee. Optimus you can't kill him. He's the one. He's the OG. He's the sexiest one.
Okay, well, sexiness aside, I gotta say though, like the first half of this movie, I kind of felt like Blue. I was like, I kind of feel like a 13-year-old boy right now. Like I was like, there's not a lot storyline wise that's happening minus Optimus dying, but I'm like, it's hard to be bored. Every 3 minutes there's some crazy fight going on. There's like, cool shit happening. There's an insane 80s rock soundtrack with
that was sick.
You're the winner, which I found out was written for this movie. Never knew that.
Very sick.
Weird Al is on the soundtrack. The animation, I love something like this is before my time. Shut up, Blue. This is before my time, but
barely.
But I still think that there's something cool about this era of animation. I mean, the other movie we're gonna do is kind of right in that ballpark. So I think there's something to that kind of slightly, I don't know, like bouncy image. Like it's not static. It's kind of motion. It moves.
Yeah, we picked very similar animation styles, I guess I will say, or like very similar to that like time period and like of that era of animation and how it looked and everything. Though I mean, yours was like closer to your time, and mine's like really far behind like mine. But like, yeah, it's like interesting how you both picked the same.
Oh, it's crazy! It's crazy. I was like, hope he dies again.
No, dude, I just had a hard time with. So you have to keep in mind, for anyone who's like listening to this and is like, okay, Blue, maybe you got like, maybe there's parts of the movie that are good, and like I am like refusing to see it. There are good parts. I don't want to say that either. The animation, the music, like we talked about, I love that. I like the Optimus thing is just too far, and also like it's just. I looked up, like I was like, what is the tone of the show? Because I didn't watch it obviously as a kid, and no one dies. There are 0 body count up until this point. And then they showed like billions of people dying because they destroy Cybertron, and then Optimus dies. Like they're like, I don't understand.
I mean, I'll be like, again, because I had not seen this since I was like a little kid, and I was not even a Transformers fan. I was a Beast Wars fan. This was like a rental at like Blockbuster, like or something stupid like that. I know you would never even know what that was. Anyway, I
have a Blockbuster gift or a membership card in my wallet.
So if you have a gift card, I think you need to cash that sucker in. But like
it's not mine, it's my ex's mom's. So
well,
a lot older, so she would have had one. So
her, not you. Anyway, you know what? Actually, I might flip it. based on that comment. But yeah, like I was like, wow, I'm like, I don't remember like as soon as like Megatron and the Decepticons get in, they like infiltrate that little like plane and they just start like blasting people's heads off. I was like, and they're like showing the light like go out inside their eyes, like
Yeah.
and then not only that, like I also had to read up on it because I was like, this is it's strange because not only that, the language. There's a scene where I think it's Bumblebee at one point is like, this is some crazy shit, and I'm like, this is a Saturday morning cartoon. What are you like? I know it's not like he said like I'm gonna fuck your mom or something, but like to
It's a
hear
little
that,
controversial. Mhm.
yeah, it's still a little. I guess they did remove it in subsequent viewings. They only put it back in the anniversary edition because I guess people who were scarred by it were like, "Hey,
Hey,
I
where is
remember.
that?
Yeah, I remember that."
That's funny.
Yeah.
just
So
don't
the
get
tone
it.
is crazy.
Yeah, and then like I don't even know how to take it. Like I do because I'm an adult, but like I'm watching like Cybertron fall. I'm like watching it be destroyed, and hypothetically, billions of lives being lost. And all you hear is like cartoon eating effects, like,
Oh yeah,
and I'm like,
there's that like the metal thing.
yeah, and I'm like, these people are dying. Like I'm watching the death of a society, of a planet, and like even as a kid, I think I would watch that and be like, what? It's just
Other than the weird sound effect, but like the way that Unicron, who's like this big for people listening, he's like a planet. He's like basically a planet, but he's got like two big spikes on him. The way he destroys Cybertron, I thought was like, I was like in my head, I was like, Marvel for Galactus and your stupid Fantastic Four movie. If you don't do better than this, shame on you. Because they're like, I was like, if that looked pretty fucking cool for like, if you're gonna eat a planet, I thought it looked kind of cool. The way he like
yeah.
like stabs the planet and then like holds it in place as he like sucks it up. I thought that was really, really interesting.
Yeah, and then he goes,
Yeah, then he goes, gop, 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 gop.
like that's just dumb. That part's dumb. The animation
so
in that
dumb,
is
yes.
almost ruined by that. It did look cool though. It was all of it looked good.
Now, here's the thing I will also say that's odd. Again, I think this movie's just odd. The voice actors of this movie are like fucking nuts. So they got like they still had all the originals who were in the show, but then again, for some reason, we're like, fuck all them. And like they brought in Orson Welles, the director of Citizen Kane, is is Unicron. Leonard Nimoy, Spock is Galvatron. Like it's like a lot of famous fucking Judd Nelson, who's the Bender in fucking The Breakfast Club, is Rodimus Prime / your favorite hot rod. You told me he was so
I
hot.
would kill him with a gun.
It just
He's why Optimus got hurt in the first place, but that's
it's
whatever.
100% his fault. Yeah.
Yeah, why would I want that fucking toy? Like literally think about it. Why would I want that even?
I don't remember that character ever being. I mean, I'm sure in all the Star Wars, almost in all the Transformers iterations that have come through, I feel like that character would have popped up again. But I don't know. I feel like that character is just fucking like the fans were like, "Fuck them," and and Hasbro was like, "All right, sorry."
That's how I feel. Get him out of here.
Well, he's not even cool. Like he's so like,
Never has been.
he's
Never
so
will
like
be.
stereotypical. Like it's like as if you like could dream up what like a 12-year-old boy like it's what a 70-year-old man would be like. Yeah, they're like hot rods and they'll have flames on it and like rah, yeah. And it's like we kind of already have a character like that, and it's Bumblebee, and like we don't need two. So
Yeah, and also Hot Rod sucks and deserves to die. So tough to compare. So
I mean, plot wise, this movie's gonna be real fucking hard to go through because there's not much.
I had a really hard time getting into it in the sense, like, I know it was like in between seasons 2 and 3 of a TV show I didn't watch.
Yeah.
But as just like a movie, I was also like confused. I was like, who's Spike? Who's Daniel? What are they doing here? Why are they human friends?
Oh yeah,
what are they doing? Why
far,
is there an Autobot city? What is that happening on Earth?
Other than Hot Rod, Jake and Daniel or whatever the fuck their names are, the worst
Spike
characters.
Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who they are. So I was very confused to like, I was like, who are these people? Am I not going to get introduced to them? Like, who the fuck are they? What? So Autobot City is like a place? Because I'm used to like the Transformer movies being like they're in hiding. Like it's a secret. Like no one knows. I'm like, okay, so you can't have just like a city and that kind of base for no reason. Also, Daniel's fucking stupid. He was like not in his little fucking suit yet because he hadn't acquired it yet. And he's like trying to help the Transformers like push shit around. I'm like, you're dumb. Stop. You're 8 years old. Stop that.
Yeah, but he was helping, okay?
No. No, and I don't like him either.
I gotta agree. I have to agree. All right, so Optimus is dying. We're just gonna skip right to Optimus dying. I have 2 things about this opening scene. Okay, first, before Optimus joins the fight, I was trying to count, and I'm like, I never really watched it. It was on every now and then, but like, I counted. There's the Decepticons. There's the Autobots. This is all in the opening scene. Decepticons, Autobots. There's the Insecticons. There's the Buildatrons. There's the Constructicons. There's the Dinobots. I'm like, how many fucking people did you introduce in 2 seasons of a TV show?
Enough to make toys for a lifetime.
Yeah, and then like I saw the Dinobots, and that instantly perked me up because I'm like, I at least recognize some of those. And then they completely get their asses kicked by Constructamon or whatever, the one who's like basically a big bulldozer.
Yeah, like why did all of the other people everyone had beef?
Yeah, I didn't get that. And then we get obviously Optimus joins the fight and he's about to kill Megatron, and then dumbass Hot Rod gets he's like, he's got a gun, and he gets shot repeatedly. Now here's the part I wanted to know about, like, did you think he was dying when he got shot like 3 or 4 times?
No. Because in everything I've seen Optimus Prime in, he does get hurt. Like they're not afraid to like hurt Optimus or have him be like turned off for a little bit. But he's like integral, and like and he's in trouble, like people help him. And he also is like your classic good guy character who's like down and out, and like you think like, oh my god, this is it for him, and then he gets back up again. Power of friendship type shit. And he gets up and he beats the shit out of whoever.
The faces you're making while describing this are a little uncomfortable for me.
What do you mean by that?
The way you were just describing,
that's my king.
You were describing all. Oh well, then never mind. You weren't trying to hide. You were describing all of the good qualities about Optimus, and it did sort of look like for a little bit you just sort of went away to another place. Like, oh, he's just so virtuous, think about him. And so strong. And
he is. He's incredible, and he's a rare breed, and he's not appreciated by this cast or by the people who created him. And maybe that's something that Optimus and I have in common. I don't know, but no, honestly, I did not. You kind of like hinted that something terrible or like some shit was gonna happen, but I didn't really know. But I didn't think it was that because I've typically like seen him hurt, and he overcomes.
All right, that's true. He's been hurt a lot, and he always overcomes. Mm-hmm. But this time, he opens up his chest, and I was like, "This might be too much for Blue," because that's, I guess, as close to nude as he can be. But then he essentially gives his heart to Ultra Magnus, not Hot Rod. Which, by the way, of the two.
Mm-hmm. I was Ultra Magnus is way better.
You made the right choice, Optimus. Ultra Magnus, at least I'm like, he's respectable.
Yeah, and they have that scene where he's like, I'm just a soldier, I'm not worthy. And he's like, neither was I. Oh my God. I was like, oh, that's my man.
That's called storytelling right there, as opposed to just Ultra Magnus eats it later, and then they're just like, well, I guess he's fucking got it now. Like,
yeah, the only thing about like Hot Rod is this like transformation into a Prime. And it's like, girl, no one wants you.
No.
I hate Hot Rod. I'm gonna make an account like to hate on Hot Rod every day.
I'm sure you wouldn't be the first because it's pretty bad.
Terrible.
Now, from there, there's a billion fights. Now, the shit that's I will say about halfway through the movie, because the movie's not long either. It's like 1 hour and 20. Yeah. Without credits, probably even shorter, but like, well, probably no, factually. But shut up. I will say about halfway through the movie, I started to feel my eyes kind of glaze over a little bit because I'm like, all right, man, there's only so many times I can watch these like, I don't know who this robot is, and it's fighting this other robot that I don't know who it is. A lot of these robots feel so fucking useless. Like, do we really need two boombox robots? One that's good, one that's bad. There's one that's a fucking telescope. Do we need telescope robot? Come on, get them out of there. Like,
I agree.
There's so now. Granted, the Sharkticons, I was very big fan of, but
I did think you would like those.
Oh, yeah.
I could imagine like a little kid you being like, yeah.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, adult, that's again, when my eyes started to glaze over and everything starts to just become blurry and you're just looking at indescript robots. And then all of a sudden I saw these shark fins in lava and I was like, okay.
You said, now this is content.
Now we got now we got a movie here, boys.
Goofy. Yeah, I will say some of the designs are very creative. And they're very fun. Some of them are not. Some of them are like, okay, do you just want to sell like a set of these toys? And that's why they're similar. Like, what do you mean? But I do think a lot of them have enough uniquenesses or there's enough variety to really enjoy it. Though I need to know more Transformers lore because what? Like, why are we making certain things? Like, why do they look like certain creatures on Earth? Like, they have their own planet on Cybertron. What does natural life on Cybertron look like? Like, I need Cybertron lore. I need a Cybertron prequel now, dude. I need it right now. I need to know where Optimus Prime is from. I need to know his family. Okay. I need to know exactly how, like, I need to know everything. I really do wish I had more knowledge like that versus like, I don't know, Hot Rod being fucking stupid. And I'm like, okay, can you tell me about like why some of them are shaped like sharks and animals and dinosaurs that are on Earth? Like, can we talk about that? Yeah.
And I mean, Megatron has a little bird that flies around in space with him.
Like, what's that about? Why are we doing that? Like, literally, what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't. I have a feeling that if you watch the show, it probably makes about 25% more sense. I bet you there's not a lot of connective tissue. I'm willing to bet it's one of those shows that you kind of watch and you're like, well, now I at least know this one's name, but like, how did he get here? I doubt that they were really putting that much thought into it.
Yeah, Hollywood's not brave enough to give me my Cybertron prequel.
I would love a Cybertron prequel. Actually,
early Optimus Prime, dude. Come on,
it would be really cool. The only issue is that you would have to completely change the lore because, I mean, unless at the end of the movie, like Unicron shows up and it's just like, "What's up?"
Well, that's why it could be like a prequel. Like, give me a prequel. Give me like literally, I like the universe and I want to know more about it. And then they're like, okay, but instead of answering that, did you know that this one has flames on it? This Transformer? And I'm like, okay. But like, what is their culture like? Like, how do they turn into cars here? Like, is that just they can turn into anything and they're on the Earth?
I think you misheard. Vroom 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 vroom.
I'm like, okay, but like vroom, like if I took them to a different planet with different shaped cars, could they do that too, or is it only American cars? Like, what's going on there? And they're like, no more questions. And this one's a dinosaur.
Yeah. Oh God, and the dinosaurs. Like, I mean, I get what they're going for. But I was like genuinely upset that I was like, oh, cool, the dinosaur ones. And then like the dinosaur ones were like the stupidest ones. And I was like, oh no, what does this say about me? Like all of a sudden they're like, read me a story.
Were those your favorite?
I think of the
besides the sharks.
Yeah, I mean, which, Shark 1, Shark 2. But like, I think like of when I was the most interested on screen was when they were on, because I've at least heard of whatever the main one's name was. I can't think of it now. And I was like, all right, like they're fucking dinosaurs. I don't know. Again, I got a 12-year-old boy in me too. But then they were like really stupid and constantly got their asses kicked. Like I was like, I thought that in my head they would be like the most powerful ones. Like I know that Grimlock, what's his name by the way, is the main one. When Grimlock shows up in the stupid ass Mark Wahlberg one, like all of a sudden shit goes down. And in here he's just like constantly like, first of all, he's like, yeah, he shows up, just gets his ass kicked, and then demands people read him a story. Like, okay,
honestly, kind of real.
I mean, I like to be read too, but like,
yeah, he said, okay, spill some tea so I can Get the energy again.
I can't-
Okay, Grimlock, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. I I I don't regret watching this.
Mm-hmm.
I will never watch it again. But I still think that if you kind of like the Transformers movies and don't have a weird fetish for Optimus, I'm gonna say that's probably a small percentage of people that do. I think this movie's
Might be
worth
closer than you
watching.
think.
I think this movie's worth watching, but I do think I would maybe suggest maybe watch it with the fast forward button ready to go a few times.
Or never watch it and refuse to accept it as canon.
Really? Like you really hate it?
0 out of 5.
Now,
0.
Is it
0.
just because Optimus is dead, or is the movie like that bad?
Just because Optimus is dead. That's crazy.
Oh, okay.
That's a 0 out of 5.
Wow. Okay.
A 0. How dare you? How dare you spit in the face of the creator of this? He is what holds the team together. Oh my god. I can't live like this. No, realistically, it is higher, but like low key, it's a 0.
That's fair.
But realistically, it's higher. But I refuse to acknowledge it with the real score.
Okay. That
I think
is
I
fair.
give it a 3 on Letterboxd.
I would
But
almost say,
I think I should just change it to like maybe a half star or something.
I was gonna say like 2.5, 3 is kind of what I would feel like. There's enough there to actually enjoy, but there's
it was still fun. It was still fun, and it looked good and stuff. Like, yeah, it was just fine. It was just fine.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, I know we've talked about doing another episode later, so spoiler alert for a future episode where it was more like, we were going to pick like adult animation aimed at adults, not pornography. Could be. We don't know who's going to pick what. Oh God,
Optimus Prime.
But like, I almost was like a little upset that this is actually the one that I picked, because I felt like this rode like a weird line in between, like, we're gonna do shit like kill people and and swear. It felt like it was like they really did not know like their audience. Like, they should have just looked at a Disney movie and been like, just do that, you morons. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like a movie kids would like. Like, just thinking logically, if like Optimus Prime is a little boy's hero and you kill him, like, no wonder that didn't work out. I know hindsight's 2020, but like, did you fucking think for a minute? Like, why? You could kill anyone else off. Anyone, never him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stupid idea in general. I mean, and maybe that's why it's never been done since, to my knowledge. I cannot think of another franchise of kids that decided like, we're taking out the main one,
Because why would you do that? Because simply, why would you do that?
Because they thought they were going to make a bunch of money, and they lost a bunch of money on both the movie
0 out of 5
and the toys. All right, fair, fine. 0 out of 5.
0 out of 5 for the amount of Optimus Primes that were left at the end of the movie,
which is 0.
Yeah,
because he was dead.
I have a gun. I'm taking you and Hot Rod out. Okay,
it's fair. Put Megatron right in my mouth.
You know what? That Galvatron voice. Oh wait. Sorry.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that either. When that also, I know we got to move on for time constraints, but when all of a sudden it went from Megatron's voice to fucking Spock's voice, I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, now you've taken away, I know, like, it's the same guy, like Megatron becomes Galvatron, but it's clearly it looks completely different. It sounds completely different. So now you've taken away the main villain of the franchise and the main hero. And when you're left, I think ultimately you're like, well, you're just left with a bunch of shit nobody cares about.
Literally. Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
But speaking of shit you care about, one that I feel like has a little bit more meat on the bone. You picked a movie that we're going to talk about tonight.
Last Unicorn, a childhood classic for me.
So what's your relationship with it? Obviously, but with that, but I mean, what made you fall in love with it? And yeah.
Well, you've already changed my mind on why.
I haven't told you why, but okay.
I know.
Okay. Well, see, I have my notes.
I have feelings. I was really glad I rewatched it because I was like, I don't know. I hadn't seen it in a while. I do own multiple copies of it, of course, because it's one of the best movies ever made of all time. So need that. But I never thought much about why I liked it. I know that sounds stupid, but I remember it being it's nostalgia a little bit for me because I would go to like a video store and like I'd pick it out and like I'd rent it and like I was like kind of classic, like I loved anything like medieval timesy. I was like, ooh, dragons, ooh, unicorns, ooh, this. Like I thought like that stuff was sick. And still do, matter of fact. And so I'm sure I picked it up on the basis that I saw like a story about the last unicorn. What's going on there? Or maybe my mom even picked it out. I don't know. But I was definitely involved in it. And I just remember loving the story. I loved the performances. I didn't know any of the names at those points. I was a child, but I thought everyone like did a really good job. The story, it has enough weird moments that like keep a kid engaged, which probably aren't for kids anyway. Like the sexy tree. What's going on there?
There's a lot of things with big old titties in this movie.
Yeah. Now I'm gay, so would have thought.
And that's what I no.
Maybe the sexual awakening was the big titty tree in The Last Unicorn. Who's to say? Who's to say? It's probably not that, but
Probably not.
But I thought it was interesting enough to keep my attention. I have always loved like all of that lore. The animation is gorgeous. And I loved her. Like I still have like hopes of cosplaying her at one point. Like I like for a long time I'd look at like I didn't follow people that cosplayed Lady Amathia and like oh my god, it was just the coolest shit ever. I bought fan art of it. I loved it on the basis that it was something I watched as a kid and it's a great movie. And until you were like, oh, it makes a lot of sense why you like this movie. I was like, what do you mean?
Yes.
So, what do you mean by that? And then I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
So we like to, unfortunately, maybe analyze and self-analyze and analyze each other here on this show. And I had never seen this movie. First time watch. Saw it was 85 minutes long and was like, fucking A, Blue, let's go.
Hell yeah.
Like,
the ideal movie length.
Under 90 minutes. Wow, we are really going good here. But there were some things that I saw.
Probably less without credits.
Yeah, with no credits, probably even less. But I saw some things that I couldn't undeniably. I was like, I feel like I see why this speaks to Blue, at least as an adult. I don't know how much is there as a child, but like, and I was curious if we're gonna get there. First of all, the cast is fucking incredible in this movie. Like when I started seeing as the credits were going through, like Mia Farrow, holy shit, Jeff Bridges, Christopher Lee, Alan Arkin, Angela Lansbury, Robert Klein. Like I know you for younger people because these are, and I don't want to hear a word. These are all like actors that are like old as shit now. Like, and a lot of them are
1982 that this movie came out,
and it had an older cast at the time as well.
Yes,
like they were all like older, but like just like a star-studded cast of people from like the 50s and 60s. I don't even know, where do you want to start, because like there's only 85 minutes of this movie, and I will tell you, there's a part in the movie that my jaw dropped. Was it
the sexy big titty tree?
No, that was my pants dropped. No, my jaw dropped, and I know we're gonna jump around here, but at minute 50 of an 85-minute movie, she turned into a human being, and I was like, "How dare you? You have."
She had to.
I understand, but like I'm watching this movie. She's a horse for the first 50 minutes. I click on it. I'm like, I already knew it was an 85-minute movie. And I'm like, there's 25 minutes of this movie left. And we are introducing a complete character transformation, shaving the credits off. She had probably 20 minutes left of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. They switch her up a little bit at the end there.
Yeah. Are you?
And I love her.
But okay, so the movie opens. She's a unicorn. She's basically she's implemented to that she is the last one, and she's like, it never really occurred to her that she was the last one. I mean, we're on a coffin with roller skates with this plot because I mean the plot is moving through this movie.
Very much so.
And then there's some lines that I wrote down that I thought that started to implement or incline to me why you might like this movie, and I don't know why, but this one struck me, and it said that she can only be visible to those who have hope and trust in their hearts. And I was like, if that's not a fucking blue line right there. Oh, and then to follow it up, men no longer see unicorns, which the unicorn, after having an interaction with the man, follows it with, I'm unknown and I'm glad of it. Like men are terrible, and they do not. I mean, that's how I took that. And
they do not see the real me.
Yes, that's how I kind of took that. But
yeah, I mean, there's two women we see in the movie, and both of them know her as a unicorn, no doubt. And they're not your typical. I guess the older witch. I mean, yeah, I guess that'd be kind of stereotypical, but like the traditional unicorn lore is that like only young and like little girls and like anyone who's like still a maiden, basically, like you still have your innocence. That's when you see a unicorn. That's like when that would happen. So the fact that it's an older woman and then presumably some type of like 30-plus-year-old woman involved as well, that's able to see her. That's why she has that confrontation. She's like, how dare you come to me now, like as I am, like this? Because that moment would have been for her decades ago, hypothetically.
Absolutely. And you are right, because there are other adult women who see her, because she gets she's captured by this witch who puts her into a sideshow freak where she makes she just takes regular animals and she puts spells on them to make them look like monsters. And there are women in the crowd who see her as a unicorn, which also want to put that on there. There's a quote I have here, you put a false horn on a real unicorn. And I just thought that was the idea of you put a false horn on something that's already perfect and beautiful the way that it is, and you're trying to fuck with it and make it the way you want it to be.
Yeah. I don't know. People couldn't see it.
It just seems weird. Now I did have a question, because this is where the first big-titted animal shows up. There's another animal in the cage.
The harpy.
It's a harpy that has huge postulous nipple, heavy hangers. And I was like, all right, maybe we're in an adult animation here too. And then kind of also a little bit on that where it rides the line of like, is this for kids or not? Like the old witch basically says like, oh yeah, one day you're gonna get out, harpy, and you're gonna kill me, and I know you are, but you'll always know that I was the one who caught you. And then it's exactly what fucking happens. This old woman gets eaten by a harpy.
Yeah. I mean, the death part is a lot, but at the same time, I think there's so much about the movie. I mean, there's so many different themes, and there's so many things you can pull out of it. But I do think there's so much. I mean, obviously, one of the big themes throughout is like mortality, immortality. How are these people different? Like that woman knows that she can become immortal because she is going to live on as immortal in an immortal's memories. Like they will never forget her.
Yep.
So that's how she cements her legacy. Even when the tree is like talking to Schmendrick and like saying that I'll remember the color of your eyes when like no one will have even like remembered your name and blah blah this, and it's like this whole like grandiose kind of moment. There's like this sense of that. Same thing with the unicorn. Same thing with the ending of like her being like, I'm changed now. I've experienced regret and love and these things. And I've also experienced the other side where I could not experience sorrow or these things. And her like boyfriend, not boyfriend, is going to live on in her mind forever. So there's a lot of themes about death and mortality and immortality and all those things, which I found that was more what I would have picked up on as a kid.
Okay, and I can see that.
I think as a kid, I interpret it more as a movie about that, and about like, I guess like injustice. I don't know if I would have had like the word for that as a youngin, but I thought there was a symbolic relationship of like she loses herself and then she becomes her full self and then she's able to free all of the other unicorns because she really wasn't the last one.
Mhm.
And she's able to do that and rise above greed. That's what this guy is, right? Like he's this greedy king. Like he needs to feel happy. That the only thing that make him like somewhat happy. The Red Bull is like a manifestation of his greed and his control, and he exerts that on these innocent creatures. And like they rise up, and like she has that inner strength and that sense of right and wrong. Even if she loses it for a while, she comes back to it and is able to overcome greed and restore that. Like that would be more what I would have understood.
Yeah.
And that like justice is an immortal concept. Like that's what I would not have said it like that at fucking 8 years old. But like that's what I would have like, that's what I thought was happening. I thought it was like an uprising kind of, not like a Hunger Games revolution type of thing, but that's what I thought the theme was and what the Red Bull was.
But yeah, so that's what I would have interpreted it as a kid. And then when you started to, because I've always had that fixation on her. Like I have so much artwork of her, both as a unicorn and not, and like just her as a character. Like I've wanted to do, I have like in my Etsy cart for years, like her dress, like her pink and purpley like looking dress. And I always wanted to do a photo shoot with her, like right when she still has like the mark from her horn, where she's in Schmendrick's a cape and she's like basically naked. I wanted to do like a shoot of that essentially, because it's like this weird interplay of like innocence, but also like people perceive nudity in a certain type of way. I wanted to do that, and that's still in my head. If I could get to do that, that would be very cool.
I think you should do it. Plus,
give me a photographer. Let's do it. But when you started to, because I did have that connection to her, and I think it goes beyond. Now, again, I was a little bit of a horse girl back in the day. Back before, then the before era. Like I was in it. Like I'm like I would play like the horse video games. I loved. Have you ever heard of Bella Sarah?
No.
Bella Sarah was like a card game. It was like, you know how like Webkins you would buy like the stuffed animal and have a code and you like put it on online.
No.
Oh my god, you're so old. I'm just playing. Anyway, so Bella Sarah
was Webkins like a big thing for boys too?
Yeah, there's for everyone. Anyway,
I'm Googling
Bella
right
Sarah
now.
cards were huge, and they not huge. You buy them as like a trading card pack, and they would have like the codes of the horses, and you'd like put them onto your Bella Sarah account. You take care of them, and like I had a unicorn, obviously, and like I thought it was sick. But it always went beyond that, like for me with her as a character, and I never really pieced together why until, and you hadn't even told me why yet. You were just like, oh, that makes sense why you like this character, and I was like,
ooh, can I see if I'm anywhere right?
Yeah.
So this is when I really started to be like, okay, I'm seeing some parallels here between who Blue is as a person and what matters to them, and a lot of that is, I mean, not getting too super deep here, but you're a person who very much you like your individuality, you like being free, you like being able to do what you want. And when I first started picking up is when Schmendrick is trying to do his spells, and he says to her, I cannot turn you into something that you are not. And the way he said it, I was like, that's going to be a theme, obviously, clearly coming up. So then, of course, when she changes into a fucking human, I was like, what the fuck? But then, after she's been changed into a human, now that she's been forced to change, I should say, into a human, she begins forgetting who she begins forgetting herself, and she starts becoming unhappy, and she doesn't even know why she's becoming unhappy, because she has to be herself. If she's not going to be herself, she's never going to be happy. And I don't. When I started to see that, I was like, I'm seeing some parallels between who Blue is as a person. You have to let Blue be Blue. Like, come on. Am I right, sister?
Yeah,
What
hell King.
No, wait, did I land it? Did I land it? Is this what you picked up on as well?
Yes, but I would like to expand it. I think you're on the right track. I think all of that is very real and very valid. I took a lot of it in like. For context, if you don't know, audience, hello, I am a non-binary person. I use they, them pronouns. You could probably guess because I have a nose ring and blue hair. But that's who I am, okay? And there's a lot of themes around her that, like, you could infer. There's a little allegory moment of, like, parts of the trans experience, which are cool, really cool. Like, for example, when she turns into that human woman, and she says, I'm a woman now. We've always conceptualized her as a female horse, like, the whole movie. And for her to, like, have that statement of, like that she's a woman now, like, and I was like, oh, like that goes beyond like human. Like she was already hypothetically a female horse. So that part was very interesting to me. But yeah, there's a lot of like things around like not being perceived as you are, not being like I love the line from Smendrick when he says it's a rare person to be taken for who they really are. And I loved that line, or what they truly, what he truly is.
Well, so much of the movie is about perception, about how you see things and how people see you, and and then also forced change. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things I can see that someone, especially with you being non-binary, which I think we've discussed, you were not aware of at the time when you probably first saw this, but like
I had feelings at that time, but I would not have known what it was.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to speak. I thought we had spoke for that, so don't come from the internet, please.
Yeah, I mean, I started experiencing those feelings very young, but yes, it did take me many, many years to realize what that was.
Well, and I think that makes sense. That obviously that this movie spoke to you on some level, and surprise. Those are some of So I don't know if I was right, and it seems like I was a little bit off actually. But some of the things
you're on the right path. I think you're on the right path. I just took it a little deeper with that lens specifically because of my own identity and like how often I felt like I'm locking away my true identity. Just to make it like easier to pass through like normal day-to-day life, which is literally exactly, what she did. And it's interesting. It's interesting that she's like a unicorn and that represents like innocence. And then she's being told like the magic pick your form, blah, blah, blah. Like I in the same way that I didn't choose to be a lady, like you just get like typecasted into that. And she tries to build these like she's her truest self and she's innocent of that even being a concept. And she tries to build these relationships that they're made on like false pretenses because that's just not who she not who she is, and they just like don't work. And
now, question for you on that, because there's one that like I did not really know how to take, whether I should be like, oh, that's sweet, or like, nope, that's still not right. And that's when for all intents and purposes, we're going to say Prince Charming. I don't know his fucking name. There's a prince who shows up in the last 18 minutes of this movie and inexplicably just falls in love with this woman.
I mean, who wouldn't? She has white hair and blue and purple eyes. Come on.
This horse or unicorn that has turned into a woman, and he has no idea about it. And then at the end of the movie, which is 15 minutes after he shows up, he's like, I love her. And the two, her two little buddies, the wizard and the homeless woman, I don't know what she is. She's just a homeless woman.
Homeless woman, oh my God.
Are like, hey, like, no, you can't love her. She's a horse. And then he said, I love whom I love. And they're like, she's a unicorn. And he says it again. He's like, and like distinctly, like, he's like, I love whom I love. And I'm like, so you love you love an animal. Oh, okay. And then he does.
I mean, I love Optimus Prime, so.
But he sacrifices himself for her, which she then returns the favor by bringing him back to life. But I was like, on first viewing, I was like, the I love whom I love part I thought was really sweet. But now that we're getting deeper into it, like we always do, thank you for making me be a smarter person. Life was better when I was just dumb. Is that a good mentality to have? Like his strong-headedness is trying to push forward with this relationship that I don't really know if it definitely wasn't natural, but I mean, like, she only felt the way about him that she did because she started to forget who she was.
Yeah, it depends how you choose to interpret that, because obviously I'm going to view it through that lens. And I don't want anyone who's like watching that movie now to be like, well, this isn't a queer movie. No, it's not really. But like, there's obvious undertones that like, it doesn't take a lot to extrapolate that, like, someone can interpret it that way. I don't know anything about the original author if he like it had intended any of that or not. I almost think I still view it in the sense of her. Like I view this like her mourning as like this mourning of like your innocence, your childhood, wanting to have this eternal childhood, like you're forever changed. She knows love now. She knows these things. And then she like reverts back into a different version of herself. So there's something to be said about like maturity. There's something to be said about like illusion, reality in that sense, and letting go of even a comforting illusion to know your true self. And I think in some ways that love that he had is probably real for him, but I think for her it became a comforting illusion because of her losing herself.
Okay, and that's kind of what I was thinking. Now that we've gotten a little more in the weeds of the implications of this, and yeah, okay,
yeah. I think they were. I mean, that was never going to work. She's not someone that can be won that way, not in and of itself.
Now the good news is if he has developed some sort of fetish, like an Optimus fetish, at the end of this movie, there's thousands of unicorns.
So you could have a lot. No, that's us horsing around. Anyway. But I almost think like you could take it a lot of ways. Like you take it in terms of like your first heartbreak, right? Like this is supposed to be this fairy tale type guy. He's a prince. He's like slaying dragons. He's doing all this stuff. He's like trying to win her, and then like he kind of gets her for like 2 minutes, and she's like forever changed from the experience, and she finds inner strength and she wants to protect him. She has something else to like protect other than herself, which I don't think any of the unicorns ever had because of the way that they feel things. But I almost just think like that is just kind of symbolic of like relationships when you're first getting into them. Like when you're a child and you're innocent and you're going into, not even that he had bad intentions, but like this a lot of people think of love, especially that young, that love can be very fairy tale like, and it is this or can have these storybook like elements to it, even if they don't know that that's where they're getting that from. And she'll always know the reality of that, and like dealing with a loved one dying. Like she has so much like more concept of that like in her head now.
She is forever changed.
Yeah, I almost think that it could also be a metaphor for like the first like significant relationship that you have, and like how does that change you? Even if like the other person does see you as who you are, what does that do to you? And is that fairy tale comforting, or is it misleading you? Is it keeping you from your true self, or is it not?
Okay. I get you on that. No, I mean, all of that I think is valid. I would be curious, and I honestly, truthfully did not know till you mentioned it just a few minutes ago that this was based on a book. I would have liked to have done my research on the book and figured out a little bit more of that because that would have been something that would have been fun. But yeah, I think all of that's, I mean, when I watched, again, just to reiterate, I watched this movie, by the way, fun watch.
Yeah.
Super short. It's really like you can't be bored with it because it's every scene is something that's happening. I mean, there's no fluff whatsoever at all.
And it's so fun.
And it is very fun. I mean, even like probably the one scene that means like the least is like her talking to a butterfly who's like some like I'm gonna guess like 20s comedian because he's just like cutting up a rug like and singing, or like vaudeville performer. It's a very fun movie.
It's very Alice in Wonderlandy.
It is very Alice in Wonderlandy. And I mean, and again, for me, just being as close to you as I am, like it wasn't like I was watching because I was like, does Blue know what's going on in this movie? Because like I'm like, did they pick this knowing this? And that's what I was glad that I wasn't going crazy because I was like, of all the movies that we've done so far, which is only like what now 5, 6,
something like that.
This was the one that I'm like, okay, like. No, yeah, this encapsulates my podcast partner here more so than Nosferatu or, Chinese love stories, like there's elements of those. I understand why you enjoy them, but I was like on a who you are as a person level. I was like, yeah, there's some massive overlap here.
Yeah. And I didn't even put it together. I was like, this movie's just like really fucking cool. And then you're like, oh, this makes sense why you'd like it. And I'm like, you think it makes sense that I like the movie about a character who's a woman, but they're not actually a woman, and like you just can't see who they truly are, but that doesn't change who they really are inside. And that's literally my experience living as a person in a feminine body. I'm like, where did they get that from?
Yep.
What?
Yep. And society keeps trying to put you in a box and just doesn't work, and then you get unhappy, and then blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I saw some stuff.
yeah, there was a lot there that even I didn't put together at the time, but now I'm like, oh yeah, no, I probably really liked her for that reason. I don't even know.
I just hope at some point we find my last unicorn. Like maybe when we do the adult one and we pick like I pick like heavy metal or something, you're gonna be like the big titted alien, Sam. That was you. You were the big titted alien. Like, I look forward to hopefully finding my last unicorn in that regard.
We have many movies to go, but I do think I think this category of even like just childlike animation could be fun to explore again too for some more episodes, because there are so many like things of our childhood, and I think we can pull from other places too.
Yeah, no, I think it ended up being one that like sort of got back into serious territory. Like are we like a serious podcast now?
We were trying to be silly and fun.
Yeah, and then you had to pick the movie that I was like, like you know what you did, right? Like, and you're like, no, it's about a horse.
Yeah, I love horses.
But yeah,
I started this episode horsing around.
Oh, done.
Horsing around with Optimus Prime. That's good.
Fair enough. And it's just gonna be a picture of his crotch and the unicorn just coming out of it.
If you need any, just go through my likes on Instagram and you'll see.
Fair enough. Yeah, there's no shortage there. I mean, ultimately, yeah. So, for the viewer, again, where'd all the unicorns go? Spoiler alert, they were in the ocean. Of course, dumbass. That's where the unicorns are.
That's
in
where I
the
put mine.
They were being kept there by the Red Bull. And yes, at the point when the hero character kind of sacrifices himself, which I did like that part though. He said the hero looks at Schmedrick and is like, "What? Why don't you do something? You know, this is what you have the power to do something." He goes, "No," and he's like, "Why not?" He's like, "Because that's what heroes are for." And then he's like, "You're right," and then immediately dies.
Yeah, but it's okay because then that like inspired her. It's just like a whole thing.
Yeah,
You know, I might have loved her as a horse, but he was also, willing to step up.
and die.
That's what I would do for Optimus.
I know you would. You absolutely. That's what heroes do. And then,
And I would play Linkin Park on my phone as I died.
and then the last thing you would just hear is like, rap, 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 rap.
Oh no! I wanted to be like, Autobots, roll out. And then like I can just like go to heaven with that as a soundtrack.
I am gonna end this episode with that.
I love that for us.
Ultimately, all right. So I've never seen this before. I did have fun with it. It is so easy to watch, even if, like, granted, for listeners, if you're like, I don't really want to watch a movie that's all about gender politics and identity. If you don't,
It's really just a fantasy movie at the end of the day.
it's truly, if you want to look at it from that mindset, the allegory is for sure there. I mean, I am not someone who is I am boring.
He's an ally.
I was gonna say cis. I am a cis
Right.
white man. Like, you
You
know,
are,
like,
yeah.
but like I picked up on it immediately and then was like,
Yeah,
it's
well, I
there.
think that's because I'm definitely. I don't know. Maybe you would have already done that already, but I do think having a friend like me that's always thinking about those things, it has like because you got to that point before I did. I was
Well,
like,
yeah.
oh,
I mean, it helps
you
that you were
clocked
the one
me
that picked it.
immediately. Like, okay.
It was pretty fast, yeah.
Do you think if you were watching this on your own, like not in context of watching it with me, do you think any of those things would have like? And there's no wrong answer. I'm just genuinely curious. Like, do you think any of those things would have like
I think
jumped out at you?
yes, but not in a very specific way. Like what I mean by that is like it's a lot easier for me to think like, oh, my friend Blue, like, you know, 'cause we have all kinds of insane fucking conversations, like from like the level of like serious to basically Beavis and Butthead, but like,
Yeah.
like
There's a lot
so,
of variety.
so that kind of looms in my mind, especially when you mentioned it. So I think that let me get a little closer to it. But I believe that I would have picked up on some of the allegory and maybe just not have thought about it as much. I guess if that makes sense.
Yeah, I do think the context of me showing you this movie and telling you I loved it, and you're like,
Yeah.
knowing what I know about you, yes.
Well, we just went and plus last week we just did like a psychological analyst of our two movies, and yours ended up being a lot more true than mine. So like it was still like fresh in my brain.
Yeah, we're still analyzing Blue era of the podcast. I don't think that ever ends. I'm just yapping.
My movies are just like that was good. Like
Yeah, and I'm like, I need to discover my own inner truths, all of them right now.
But ultimately, I have yet to rate this because I didn't want you to see it on Letterboxd. I think that this is a solid 4 out of 5 star movie. This is a very easy watch. I still think of all the movies that you've picked for the show. I still think you didn't pick Annie Hall. That was picked by
That
your
was more
brain.
of a personality test thing, but yeah.
I'm gonna say what was it? The Wong Kar-wai one.
In the Mood for Love.
I still think that is the best that you've picked, but this is so you can enjoy it on multiple levels, and it's short and it's funny and it's cute, and I think it was a good watch, and I am better for having seen it.
Oh, that's sweet. I give it a 4 out of 5 too. I think it's.
I was actually thinking you were going 5, but
No, I think 4 is fair. I think there's some parts where I'm like, did we need the Robin Hood scene? Probably not. Like, are there things in the movie that could be changed? Do we need every creature to have big titties? I don't know. Like, maybe I'm wrong to critique, but there's some things that I think could be improved. But in general, it's very stylistic of the time. The animation is beautiful. I love the art. I love the color. I love even just the scenes of like her passing by that picture of a unicorn and like it like her face lining up with where the horn would be, and like there's all this fun. The visual element to it that, like you said, the performances are awesome. Like, it's a really all-star cast. I mean, there's so much to love about this movie on so many levels. Like, I could watch this. This is like the type of movie you'd want to show your child, hypothetically. Like,
yeah,
maybe you'd wait a look because the big titty monsters. I don't know what you do. I don't know. I'm not a parent. Whatever. But as far as the actual content, like, it's something a child can enjoy and love and think it's a fantastic movie. And it's something the adult that's watching that movie with them can also think is incredible and enjoy it on so many different levels. So I think you definitely got that right. And like, there's so many ways to love and enjoy this movie that I just discovered one myself. Like, and I've loved this movie for fucking 20 years. I've had like the 4K copy for, however long. Like, I have loved this movie for a very long time, and I'm still finding new ways to love it. And any movie that can do that, it stands above. And yeah, for me, but you know, there's some little tiny tweaks. It's a 4. It's a 4 out of 5. I'm very confident in that.
If this guy was a bigger character, would it be a 5 out of 5?
Me drawing symmetric from memory. That's us.
Yeah, I saw that guy. I thought it was very funny.
I hate that so much.
Yes, I'm with you. 4 out of 5 is good for this, and I absolutely would show this to my kid. I think this would be like a perfect movie to show. Like, and I would say fairly young. I don't think there's. I mean, granted, unless you're super prude about titties. Other than that, pretty good for a kid, I'd say.
Yeah,
Very good message.
Sexual. I mean, they're there. They're there.
That's a little sexual when Schmedrick is like
tree.
up in that tree.
Yeah, just like tell them to go get you something from the kitchen or something, and then have them come back or whatever. Yeah,
Leave me alone for 5 minutes. I'm watching this.
4 out of 5 for A Last Unicorn, and 0 out of 5 for Transformers the movie.
Okay, all right. I will acquiesce.
I'll give it 3.
All right.
Give it 3.
I might go
Reluctantly.
I might go 2.5 on Transformers. It's not great. It's for
I
what
would,
it is.
yeah, I will give it a 2.5 in my head, but at the same time, I do give it that additional plus half because I fucking love the Transformers. So, like, that alone is worth a +5. It might even be a +1 if Optimus didn't fucking die, because what the fuck? What the fuck, actually? I'm still mad, actually.
I don't blame you, and I'm sure I will be hearing about it tomorrow.
Yeah. Matter of fact, get ready.
Well, with that, Blue, I know this is going to be our shortest episode. Unfortunately, something's going on. But I want to say to the listeners out there, we know you are there. We can hear. I can't. I try to come up with something off the top of my head. Like, rate, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.